This is part one of a two-part series when we're gonna walk step by step in how you can create an interior design project process. In this video, we're gonna walk through the 5 questions to ask yourself in the design phase and in the installation phase so that you can create a project process that's unique to you. Are you ready? What I need you to do is get a piece of paper and a pencil and dive in, roll your sleeves up. There's gonna be a lot of learning here and it's really important to follow each and every step. Let's go. We're gonna walk through each of the 5 phases and I'm gonna ask you 5 questions in each of the phase that I want you to answer, and it will reveal what your process is for each of the phases. 1, the design phase. The first question I want you to ask yourself is who does what in this phase of the project? If you're a small firm, that might be you. You might be the lead designer of your firm, and that's great. If you're a bigger firm or if you're looking to scale, you're gonna wanna start thinking about strategizing how you can divide and conquer with another designer. Maybe you're in charge of residential and you hire another designer to be in charge of commercial or whatever. The next question I want you to ask is maybe the most important question, and that is, how do you do it? How do you do this phase? And in particular, as it relates to the design phase, this is gonna be the juiciest, most depths of your brand. Getting this part right is paramount. So how do you do design? How you do design is gonna wanna be reflective of what the differentiator is that you have in this world. For me, it's biographical design. Biographical design is a special secret system that I've come up with that uncovers the 6 things about a person's biography that I know that when I deliver a home that is reflective of that, I know I can deliver a home that delivers the promise that I promised to deliver. And in order to deliver biographical design results, I know that my design process has to look like this. It has to be a 2-hour meeting wherein we deep dive into a person's biography. I have to ask 6 important questions that I know are those questions I have to ask. And the thing is, I don't take on a project unless it starts with this system. So what is your system of design? That's your signature system that only you deliver in this particular way. And it can only be this way if you're gonna result in the results that you promise. The third question I want you to ask is, how long do you think this process will take? And what I want you to consider is how long you would like to have at this phase. Not how long you think the client will expect it to take, but how long you would luxuriate and come alive and be energized with taking. That's the amount of time you tell your clients that this phase takes. And that's the amount of time that you budget for this phase. The fourth question I want you to ask yourself is, how do you want the client to experience this phase? For example, do you invite them to your office? Do you go to their home? Do you bring food? Is there some homework that you give them? Is there some emotion you're trying to conjure of them when they meet with you? For example, there's a designer in my program who works with families with small children. The emotion she wants the clients to have in that first design meeting is one that connects them to the love that the family has. So she asks them to bring 5 family pictures to that meeting. And that is the way she's intentionally crafting the clients to experience emotion as she's working with them. There's a lot of different ways to go about crafting the client experience. And I want you to think about how your clients experience this process in a way that particularly points to the promise that you want to deliver the outcome to be. And the last question is, how does billing work in this design phase? How does billing align with what you've just completed in this phase? Now here's the big takeaway that I want you to consider. Whether you charge hourly, flat fee, monthly invoicing, whatever it is, I want you to understand that this phase is your highest value ever in the project. This phase gets to be the phase that you get the most money because this is where your value really comes to shine. Let me know in the comments below if you feel like, yeah, and you're super excited about that, or if you feel like, I'm a little scared. Let me know. So let's move in to talk about the next phase of a project, and that is the documentation phase. And you guessed it, the first question I want you to ask is, who does what in this phase? Now, what I know is documentation phase, which is the drawing of installation documents and construction documents, that's often the phase or the part of the project where people feel they can hire out for. This could even be a virtual assistant, because this is not the phase that requires a lot of brilliance in design in particular. It does require some technical skills, and so sometimes people choose to hire out for technical things. If you're a bigger firm, you might want to decide if you have a particular technical drawer for a particular project and that person stays with the project for the entirety of the time, or if that technical draftsperson draws for all the projects in the office. The important thing is to get clear on who's in charge of what for every single project and every single drawing. You want someone to have ownership of each thing that they produce. The second question I want you to ask is, how do you do this phase? Now, how you do this phase is going to largely be influenced by who you're working with in the outside of your office. For example, if you're a bigger firm, you might likely be working with architects or engineers or builders who are working with programs of their own. Maybe you want to match the programs in your office to their programs so that you can easily communicate drawings back and forth to each other and open each other's files the whole time during the project. If you're a smaller firm, you might want to lean into programs that are easier or more fun for you to work with, and that could be how you decide what programs to work with. It's important, though, to have clarity on the type of program that you use to Oh my God, the gods agree with me. The important thing is to have clarity and consistency on the program that you use for what outcome. The next question I want you to have clarity around is, how long does this phase take? Now, in the past, I have felt like this phase needed to be rushed. And what I know and have experienced from experience is that this is not the phase to rush. This is the phase to have a lot of accuracy. This is the phase that requires a lot of back and forth between the installers or the contractors or the architects or the engineers. So this back and forth between your office and other people's offices or the people who are supporting you in this phase is going to be really important and deserves to be nurtured and deserves to be given graceful amounts of time to ease the communication and to allow for a lot of accuracy to happen. So think about how much time you wish and your consultants wish you guys together had in order to create a document set that is accurate and beautiful. The next question to ask yourself is, how do you want your clients to experience this phase? Now, does it look like a one-on-one meeting with your clients in their house where you go over every single detail in the drawings? Does it look like you don't communicate drawings at all to your clients because you don't want to have them have to deal with the technicalities of everything? What do you want your clients to experience? And what do you need from your clients in this phase? Do you want your clients to sign off on construction documents to make sure that you cover yourself, I'll leave it there, for things that are involved in the drawings? So what does it look like for you to deliver excellence in this phase of the project? The next question is, how does billing work in this phase of the project? Now, something to keep in mind is that this phase of the project, because there are consultants involved, could mean that you are incurring additional expenses, like the architect's fees, engineers' fees, any installers' fees that charge you for making any kind of drawings on your behalf. Are there any fees that you incur in order to create a construction document or an installation document set? If there are, then you want to build that into how you're maintaining your pricing throughout the phases so that this phase and the amount you bill for this phase covers those expenses. All right, I know we covered a lot today and there's still so much more to uncover. So stay tuned because next week is going to be part 2 when we're going to talk about the final phases of the project. Meanwhile, if you want to come over to our website, there's even more ways we can support you. Visit us at biographicaldesign.com.